Let's take a look at the Vindicator. I've been following up on some comments. We've been talking about mechs that, inner sphere mechs that are solid, that are good. Now, we all have our favorite mechs. I love the Marauder. Other people might look at the Marauder and say, hey, it looks really good, it's sexy, but heat management is awful and playing it is really challenging. Putting aside our personal mechs, there are certain mechs in the game that are solid, that if you're not really sure, A, how to expand your collection, or B, maybe what to take, building a core of these mechs is a solid way to go. Because you might roll into Battletech with your friends where you agree to a battle value. You know, we're going to play 5K battle value. But you don't know the table that you're going to be playing on, the terrain. You don't necessarily know the mission. So I'd hate to take a long-range super support lance type build and we're city fight. Although I guess I could indirect. But you kind of know what I'm saying with that. Solid mechs. The Vindicator is interesting because in terms of the inner sphere, for its weight versus armor versus battle value, it brings a lot. And that's not to say there aren't some deficiencies. There are a couple of things that you have to be aware of. But for about 1,000 battle value, I think it's like 1,024. It's a solid buy-in on there. That's in my opinion, and certainly in the comments, you guys will let me know. The battle value buy-in for it is reasonable with it. So what we're looking at, and on a side note, you know, a lot of this I think will be changed when Catalyst releases the new updated plastic miniatures. In the tech manuals, in the TROs, the Vindicator looks kind of cool on there. It looks sleek. But the actual sculpt itself, I think the head's a little bit too big on there, just with how it looks. I mean, it's kind of a dynamic sculpt. I certainly have the mech. I certainly play the mech. I love the tactics that it brings. I just think the helmet should be a little bit slimmer to match that. So we begin with the PPC on there. And we don't know about the clans yet. It's Inner Sphere, Succession Era. Pick your number of wars. The PPC has the dual combination of range and 10 points of damage per hit. So on a mech for this size, to have a PPC, that gives it range and bite. Then we add a long-range missile 5-pack on there. So the 5-pack is matched with the range of the PPC. So you have two reach-out long-range that the PPC can deliver some damage. The 5-pack, I wish it was bigger. I wish it dealt more damage. Tactically, in my mind, 5 and 10 packs are more for support and harassment. Not that you ever want to get hit by anything. Where 15 packs and 20 packs, they're going to make you a little bit nervous on there, just based on if you roll average, the missiles for the impact on there. A 5-pack, even if you hit square on, it's not catastrophic damage. It's not like getting hit with a PPC or a large laser. But Inner Sphere Tech, it has the push out. It has the reach. So we have two good weapons to reach. Side note, you could indirect if you have a spotter with a 5-pack. So we could possibly harass, use it as a type of harassment on there, but solid. Then we get closer. So we have two very, very long-range weapons. We get closer, and now we switch to a medium laser and a small laser with that. We have the medium laser. A medium laser is interesting range bracket in that it can push out. It pushes out further than you think, and it could also be used at lower ranges on there, as opposed to a small laser or the big example, machine guns. You need almost to be at point blank for those things to happen. So we start to see this interesting shift where with the Vindicator, I've got the long-range punch. Then as I close, or a unit closes on me, paying attention to heat management, maybe I stop firing the PPC and just fire the missiles, and then I also fire the medium laser. It's going to be at long range, but I can fire it. Then once we start to get under those minimums for the PPC and the long-range missiles, I switch to the medium laser and the small laser. So it has a lot of punch at long range, some fearsome punch at long range, again, for the battle value and tonnage. Yes, it's not a Marauder with 2 PPCs and an autocannon, but the buy-in is good. And armor's not that bad either on there. And then when you get closer, it can switch to those lower range type of weapons. Weaknesses. Okay, it doesn't have redundancy. Not every mech can have redundancy. This idea is 3 is 2, 2 is 1, 1 is none. I'd like 2 PPCs. I'd like to be able to fire both of those PPCs because you're going to be moving, I might be moving, we might be at range. It increases the chance of hitting. That's why an example of longbow versus archer, the longbow, at first glance you look and say, okay, it's got the 220 packs, that's good. But the 5 packs, heat aside, because you can generate a lot more heat, wouldn't you be better with some more armor on there? But those are 4 potential long-range shots. 2 paired 20s, 2 paired 5s. That's a lot of missiles. That's redundancy. That's a missile boat in there. Or something, even with vehicles. The Partisan, anti-aircraft tank, quad autocannons, that's redundancy. You increase the chance of something getting through. And if I can catch you at medium or short range, this idea of 2 PPCs, if I can catch you at medium or short range, and I'm not moving because I'm like camping out in some woods, and maybe you're not moving your full speed for whatever reason, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be a dice roll that we're really going to look at. So normally we want redundancy. The Vindicator doesn't quite have it because it doesn't have 2 of the same weapons, but it has redundancy built in to the 3 range brackets. This idea of LRM PPC, then maybe medium laser PPC, medium laser LRM 5, then switching to medium laser, small laser on there. It's got something you can do at every range. This makes it an interesting kind of well-rounded, just I can kind of be anywhere on the table helping out as needed, a very flexible type mech. Now, okay, it's putting out good damage with that PPC. It's not doing alpha damage. It's not like when I'm running my thug-based hunchback up there with that autocannon 20, literally jogging up the table. You know where I'm going. You know what I'm doing. And when I get close enough, assuming you haven't blown me up, I might be you might be a little bit scared on there. That's alpha damage. But the Vindicator, it can be anywhere and lay down some fire, very flexible, move somewhere else. It makes a great bodyguard type mech, meaning something that can accompany another heavy, maybe an assault, where if something's incoming, like say a Jenner, can't let that Jenner get behind me, even an assault mech. Need to deal with the Jenner. Don't want to peel off the assault mech to deal with the Jenner because I might not hit it, and I need to get that assault moving because it's not fast. Vindicator, pull off and deal with it. Drive that Jenner away. If we get close and now we're locked in and my battle master is battling your battle master, then the Vindicator can add a little extra dice to that. The Vindicator can kind of move around and try to get side or rear armor. It can be anywhere at any time, and it has something that it can contribute to. It's a good mech, and again, the battle value is where it's at. A good value of armor, battle value buy-in, and weaponry. Your thoughts on it, and looking for future podcasts, because I want to continue this kind of thread, because there's a bunch of new channel members that are getting into Battletech. Could not be a better time for it. And in building up your mech collection, naturally you're going to gravitate towards some favorites, but building up 10 or so mechs, 10 or so machines that are just solid inner sphere type mechs. And just to be fair, we will look at the clans too. Although the clans don't really have as many bad mechs. They have more good mechs than bad mechs on there. What would you recommend as solid auto-include mechs across all weight classes, light, medium, heavy, and assault?